the benefits of being vulnerable in a relationship. Good morning, everybody. It's the morning show, Monday through Friday. And I'm joining you today from a standing bike. Isn't it awesome to have a stand-up bike? Buenos dias. Today is Wednesday, March the 20th, and 2024, not 23, as I've been saying it. And it's Wacky Wednesday. Now, the wacky husband's not here, but I am. And the wacky part about today is that I am riding my bike. I'm putting in my 25 minutes. Let's go to the next slide. Good morning, Charmaine's in the house. We have our dad joke because that's how we kick off. Let's hear from this hilarious construction guy. He's funny.
I farted on my wallet earlier. Now I got gas money.
Hey! He's got gas money. Genius! That is such a dad joke. I love it. All right, so today I went with my words. My words are calm. What a reminder. That's an affirmation for sure, to say the least. So this week, Monday through Friday, we've been talking about self-boundaries. And it's like, why are we talking about vulnerability? Well, yesterday we talked about how guarding yourself most of us, when we're aware of boundaries, we believe they're towards somebody else. And on Friday, I've been collecting phrases of self-boundaries. So on Friday, we'll give more examples. So my words are calm. It's one of them. But anyway, why am I jumping to Friday? Self-boundaries are guidelines, for us to get clear. And that's basically what we're going to talk about, and how has being vulnerable to me has helped in my relationship. First of all, with myself, and then with those who are the closest to me. So let's go to the next slide, please. Again, values. When we're clear of our values, the more clear we get of our values, the easier or the simpler it's gonna be to set some boundaries, because the boundaries are just gonna support your values. So as an example, so let's say one of your values is integrity, and you're like, okay, how does this boundary support that? Well, one of the boundaries is picking from yesterday. You could start jotting down, well, instead of guarding myself, I'm going to be real with myself first, or more clear, more specific. I'm going to be more clear about my feelings, or even more specific. I'm going to be clear about feeling rejected. Ooh, okay. Because yesterday, if you didn't watch the show, as I was talking to Jimmy, I landed of I'm not feeling seen. And the opposite of not feeling seen, it's feeling rejected. Ooh, come on, raise your hand if you, excuse me, if you have experience getting rejected. That will be, guess what? Every single human. And part of us don't want to admit that because it's gotten such a bad rap, especially, like when we watch these movies and videos. And besides, it is not a great feeling. However, it's part of life. we're gonna get rejected. So anyway, so that is the understanding of making sure what your values are and start creating boundaries for yourself around that. So if you integrity, I think about the truth. And the one that I want to be the most truthful to is me. Because remember, yesterday I said, you could go and call somebody a narcissist, you could call them whatever you want. And you're like, yeah, I was clear. I'm talking by example. And I never called Jimmy a narcissist. I mean, we actually, whenever he's doing research, we're so dumb. We mock ourselves all the time. But whatever name I put on him did not resolve anything because I still went to bed feeling XYZ. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. That was just a short recap. And with vulnerability, which is still part of our topic. And with everything, guys, let's see, what number is affirmations? Is that the last one? Take a progress pic with an affirmation. I don't know, Charmaine, if you can put it in my private chat. I can't even see it from here. I know I'm not wearing my glasses, and the computer here, I have a different one. Oh, Charmaine for president. Yes. Okay, so it's number 5. Okay, because we could get so consumed about our progress of like our belly coming down or our arm being fitter. Man, what about our self-talk? What about the words that are coming out of our mouth that are affecting us and therefore our relationships? So I like this slide to remind us that you take, as everything I share, I do share from example, and I really do hope you take it with a grain of salt. That you apply it, that you put the reps. That's what we call it in the game. The reps meaning the repetition. So that's what that slide's for. What's next on the slide, Miss Charmaine? Yeah, the self boundaries, and that's where we're gonna land and chat as we talk about vulnerability. And if you get a chance, Charmaine, maybe if we could put it in the comments, that link, YSuperstars.com/blog/ what is self boundaries when you get a chance. But we're gonna live right here, and that's oh yeah, you're on it. You're on it. You're on it. Yes, Charmaine. Kudos forever. Okay, so again, this is you could click all these links on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, so for Instagram, my peeps at Instagram, it looks like StreamYard is still trying to figure that out on how to connect Instagram fully integrated into StreamYard. All right, so I basically that's what it is, guys. At the end of the day, I wanted to give that example of the value and the boundaries supporting that. Okay, so how does that look like in a relationship? Before I even get to the relationship, I do have some samples, but I want to share about last night. Last night, or at the beginning of the year, I said that I was going to share a poem in an open mic. So the first time I went to the open mic, it was in January, and I was just part of the audience. And they were passing around the sign up, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, right? And even though I said I was gonna do it in the winter, this is what I wanted to share, was to share a poem. And I had told a few of my friends, hey, I'm gonna be sharing, hope you go, because that makes me look forward to it. Helps. It's like such a great accountability. And so it turns out that I knew one of my besties was going to be there, and that she had forgotten her phone when I had texted her. We're going, there's some situations going on here with our moms, and I really got off like I was struggling, okay, struggling yesterday, and I was like, not gonna do the open mic. I text her, I'm so sorry, I'm going through some stuff. Let me know if you're gonna go. If you're gonna go, I'll go. If you don't, I'm gonna stay. And I didn't hear back from her, so I was like, okay, she's not going. This is my ticket out. Even though yesterday I was like, man, I gotta make less promises. And these are one to myself, and then I need to stop including people in these things. But Jimmy was focused, and he took me anyway because her husband, my friend's husband, texted me. He's like, "Hey, we left her phone, and so are you coming?" And I was like, "Oh boy." So anyway, Jimmy's like, "We're going." We were taking care of some stuff for my mom, and yeah, I got there in 15 minutes. And I took my old book. I couldn't download any of my new poems in my phone, but I had my poem journal thing from Barnes and Noble that had an exercise, and I went, and I remember, well, at least when I was up there in the mic, that it was something about my physical appearance. It was a picture when I was a child, and I was wearing my skate, what do you call it, roller skates. And it was it I remember that feeling, that of the vulnerability part. See, vulnerability part is not, a lot of people get it confused that it's you have to like open yourself about everything and expose everything, and it's like, it's about going first. Vulnerability, especially in our relationship, is about going first. For example, you know, basically saying I love you first, crying first in any kind of relationship. I'm talking about like romance, friendship, any kind of relationships. It's like going first, saying those words first, right? And I don't, do you recollect moments of intimacy in a friendship and a relationship when you went first and it was like, oh my gosh, I love you too, or you're my best friend too, or you're my soulmate, you're like the man of my dreams, the woman of my dreams, whatever you have said, and that person reciprocated it, and it was like, it was magical. Like somebody went first. And as I was out there and as I'm reading, and I'm like, I said it. I was like, hey, I didn't want to call my friends, send me a text. I'm here and I want to support XYZ Arts, which are the couple who hosted the open mic. And that's why I'm here. And somebody said who's next, and nobody was coming up, and I wanted to break the ice. I wanted to go first, even though we were late. So I wasn't the first one. However, I was the first one right there when we were asked who's next, and it was crickets. And I said, I'll do it. And it reminded me, I was like, okay, this was something that I said I was going to do. I didn't want to do it. I didn't. I feel amazing. How many times have we done that? Like, you're like, no, like the resistance. And for my decision, when I actually, because we were going to do something for my mom, I did grab my poem. I had a feeling that Jimmy was still going to take me. Like it was in the back of my head. Oh, Jimmy's going to like push me. I know that. And I said, when I was getting things together, I was like, man, I'm being selfish, because what I share could plant a seed in somebody, could do, and all these things, right? And a lot of times I made choices focusing about other people without saying, well, no, I gave my word. I told my friend, even though I'm assuming she got my text and she was busy and she was not going to go, because I had told her to surprise me. I like that. I like that in our friendship. We choose surprise. And anyway, going first. You don't have to let me know in this comment. This is about you and your own journey. But recollect those times that you went first. What happened? How much closer did it bring you to? So, as a caution to all this, or just like a heads up, as we were saying just this past 2 days, when it comes to self boundaries, they got to be communicated to yourself first, then the other person. Because then it just turns out to a lot of pointing fingers and a longer, exhausting conversation. And being vulnerable is taking that risk. It's a risk because you don't know if they feel the same way or if they're even going to say it back. It's a risk. It's a risk. It's going first. It's trusting. So these self boundaries, again, I want to say it again and again, they're married with your values. Get clear. I believe it was last week, we had a list of the values that Brene Brown listed in her book, Dare to Lead. And yeah, dare. Yeah, dare to lead, dare to be that person. And before you do that, if you're like me, you're on the other side, you're like super risk taker and you jump in, think about it, why this is part of your value. And so that's my reminder, because I said I'm going to be committing less. I am, after this morning show, I'm making a recommitment to it. It's still going to happen. And I'm considering all my options where this will be a sustainable and long-term show. How can I make this a sustainable show that will go on? And who's going to be part of that team? Because I really don't want it to be all about me talking, because I really want it to be a conversation. So I'm looking forward to having people on the show. Thank you for joining me. That's all I gotta say about the benefits of being vulnerable. Is learning how to dare, learning or practicing how to take risks, going first. And that comes from being clear what you want out of life and what your goals are. And so going on the mic, poets are, like my people, were very emotional and very passionate. And, there was so much love in that room. When somebody shared, somebody forgot something, people were like, you got this. It's the environment I want to be surrounded. And so happy. So happy I get to reconnect to my bestie in high school and just go through this journey. So you know who you are, Massage Mom. Love you. And Mikey, her husband. Just so looking forward to this weekend. And guys, let's go and experience these benefits of being vulnerable. And again, first with you. You know what? Because even daring to say I feel rejected or I feel not seen, that is not popular. When you admit those things to yourself, then you're more clear. So start there. Please start with you. This is what the company YSuperstars is all about. The world thinks that the children are the future. They are, like, as far as like their time here. But your time could be as magical through YouTube, through videos, through your legacy, and through what you leave behind. And children don't do what you say. They do what you do. I know. I don't have children. I've been a youth developer since summer of 2000. So I've interacted with not hundreds, but thousands of children where, Yeah, absolutely. That's my degree, youth development. You're like, who makes you? If you're into degrees, well, that's the degree. If you're into practicality, I've been surrounded by children, thousands of children, impacted children, whether at the YMCA or through my company. And I'm not saying to throw like, oh my gosh, look at me. And I'm just like letting you know that's the exposure. And these are the families, the parents I've worked alongside as partners. And I really hope that every profession that works with parents, that you see yourself as a partner. And again, one more time, shout out to Vanessa. And I know she's got videos that they're coming up in her pipeline. If you want to follow her, Massage Mom courses. And I am happy to having people in here who understand the power of leading by example. So guys, go lead by example. Be clear with yourself about your feelings. Feel them all. Then when you're clear, don't say you made me feel nothing. No, 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 no. And that's tomorrow's show. It's Throwback Thursday. We're gonna do a little Mariah Carey on You Got Me Feeling Emotions. That's it, guys. Make sure you like, share, consider subscribing. Let me see what song Miss Charmaine's got for me. And I got 2 more minutes in my bike, or 3 more minutes for my first 25 movement of the day. Keep going at the challenge. Bye, guys. I get the music a little late, my son. I don't know why.